Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me here today. I feel honored to be part of this incredible opportunity in international conference with the theme Sustainable Development through Interdisciplinary Research in Science, Economy, Technology, and Education. I am Rizka Real Putri Alhamjah in collaborate with Miss Ayang Winda and also Miss Eva Medikusum from English Education Department at Maksum University. In line with the theme, I would like to present my psychological education research entitled Exploring Speaking Anxiety in English Spoken Language Performance, Classification of Level and Contributing Factors among undergraduate students in Bandung, Indonesia. Proficiency in spoken English is essential for effective communications in today's globalized world, serving as a primary interactions across various domains such as technology, business, and as well as education. But however, speaking is a complex combination between cognitive process, socio-cultural awareness, physical actions, and speaker knowledge on speaking aspect, all of which come into real-world situations. And therefore, speaking proficiency is challenging and a critical language skill, yet considered as the most challenging aspect among EFL students, especially in non-English speaking countries like Indonesia. In Indonesia EFL context, speaking proficiency or speaking skill often focus on classroom performance, like when the students are required to engage in various activities including presentations, discussions, and giving opinion, and speaking thoughts altogether. But however, AFL learners, especially in Indonesia, often feel or experience nervous, low self-confidence, and then fear of making mistake when they are required to speak English in language classroom. However, this phenomenon is known as language anxiety or foreign language classroom anxiety or FLCAS that introduced by Horowitz 1966. Based on the problem statement and then the urgency of study, this research has two objectives. The first one is to explore the classification of student speaking anxiety level, and then the second one is to identify the contributing factor of student speaking anxiety. To gain insight information about speaking anxiety, the research used the grand theory from Horowitz 1986 that offer three clear dimensions of conceptual factors. The first one is that fear of negative evaluations, and then communication apprehensions and test anxiety. To answer the first and then research question, the study or the research used descriptive qualitative method that presenting data in both numerical and then descriptive form. Additionally, the research used two data collection technique. The first one is questionnaire. It is a FLCAS questionnaire that consists of 33 items with 5 options from strongly agree to strongly disagree. In addition to questionnaire, the research also used interview. It is semi-structured interview that used to gain deeper insight into students' emotion and personal experience with speaking anxiety. However, FLCAS used to measure both level and then factor of speaking anxiety in undergraduate students in Bandung. After the collection techniques, the research also provides the findings. The first one is the sections of the classification of speaking English anxiety. It's so from the lowest to the highest percentage. The very first is from the lowest or in the low anxiety level. Students obtain score from 33 to 77 that present in 16.67%. And then the second one is also followed by the highest percentage of moderate level of anxiety with 75%. Students belong to moderate level of anxiety gain score between 77 to 120 with percentage of 75. And then the last one was high level of anxiety that show the lowest percentage with only 8%. Students who belong to high level of anxiety obtain score between 121 to 165 that present only 8%. It's only 2 students from the total of 24 respondents in this research, and this finding also come with a variably score that based on student emotion and student physiological condition. But however, with a high exposure to speaking English, anxiety will commonly refer, especially in AFL students in Indonesia. In addition, the research also provides the findings from the classification of speaking anxiety level, that total mean score from each factor. The very first one with the highest mean score is 2.47 that obtained by fear of negative evaluation or FNCAA. And these findings suggest that negative self-perceptions and then fear of being judged and social comparison are giving significant source of student anxiety in Bandung, Indonesia. And then the next one followed by communication apprehensions with only 2.37 mean score. These findings show that the person or the presence of peers can increase awkwardness and embarrassment in class activities such as presentation and discussion. It is also a form of sinus anxiety that is commonly characterized by communication apprehensions. And then the last one, it is the lowest mean score with only 2.24 that belong to test anxiety. This finding indicate that some students did not experience pressure and fear of direct corrections from the lecture and did not fear of failing in speaking performance. Therefore, the teacher treatment don't give a significant factor for students speaking English anxiety. That's all for the explanation from my research. Thank you so much for attention, and I hope it is giving the new insight into education field especially and contribute to our goal of sustainable development. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.